because we have the walls for defenses. That makes cities possible. And the cities are established on the coastline because contact with other peoples now is understood to be a good thing by way of commerce and trade, which itself is only made possible through advancement in Techne regarding seafaring. Again, it's that theme of the craftsman, which is to say Techne, that Thucydides is really honing in on and distinguishing from the earlier times. In other words, we have a battle of the ancients versus the moderns going on here. And I mean that in the literal sense in this paragraph. You have the ancient cities versus the modern cities. And for Thucydides, that's always going to show itself in favor of the moderns with their mastery of the motions, both in terms of the elemental, which is to say, in this case, the oceans or the seas, and in terms of man, which is to say, war or piracy. And what we can say at this point is that the characteristic of mastery over the non-human or the elemental, in this case, the sea and the ocean, in conjunction with the mastery over the human, which is to say, wise statesmanship that first showed itself with Minos and his recognition of the power of establishing a navy for the greatness of his city to become possible. Precisely that takes us back to the opening sentence of the text itself. Thucydides there went out of his way to let his reader know that he, Thucydides, is an Athenian. And what we've seen from these 7 paragraphs tells us that Thucydides, the Athenian, is firmly in the camp of the moderns, which is to say that he is firmly in the camp of the power of mind to master the fundamental flux of both the non-human and the human by way of Techne. But we can't forget that it is precisely the power of that mastery to establish peace over the fundamental flux, whether it's human or non-human, that is always at risk of becoming daring to such an extent that the mastery of the motion in terms of Techne becomes unstable and is thrown once again into the fundamental flux, which is to say barbarism.